welcome to Natrona County School District. My name is Marie Purrier and I'm Director of Human Resources. One of the things I oversee is enrollment, and we're getting ready to kick off our school choice registration for the fall 2021 school year. I'm going to show you how to register a brand new to NCSD student. Let's get started. Here's how you register a brand new to Natrona County Schools student. Start at natronaschools.org. Go to the Parent Students tab and click on Enrollment. Choose the language that you prefer. And then you're going to start a new registration. You're going to, on this first page, put your information, and I'm going to go in as Daisy Duck. And I'm going to choose the year that I am registering for. This will actually say 2021 and 2022. You're going to put your email address in there, and if you were a former student of our school district, go ahead and mark that box. That just helps us connect you to your previous Infinite Campus record. You'll need to fill in the CAPTCHA information and then click Begin Registration. Please write this number down. This is in case you get disconnected or need to come back to this application to finish it up. This way you can use this number and go right back to where you left off. Once you're in here, it's going to say welcome to you. It just needs you to type your name so that you're assuring that you are the person authenticated into the application and that you will be entering accurate information. Hit submit. Just know that you do need information like work and cell phone numbers, addresses, all of the demographic information for your student, and then anybody's information that's going to be an emergency contact for you. If it is a required field, it will be marked with an asterisk, and you need to be careful of all your spelling and all of that because we receive it just as you've entered it. And then our enrollment office phone number is there if you have a question. Hit begin. So the student's primary household, just put in information for that main number. If it's a cell phone and you can receive text, this is the best way for us as a school district at the school level to get in contact with you. So you'll let us know, can we text this phone number or is it just a voice number? You'll hit next, put your street number, and this is just a number in this first box. You'll put in the next box the direction, and you can see it starts populating. I'm just putting the school district's address here, so that is what I clicked. You'll hit next, and if this doesn't have a separate mailing address, it's already pre-clicked. If it does have a separate mailing address, you'll unclick that, and then you'll have a chance to put in a PO box. Save and continue. The next box is parent guardian, including yourself in this area. So the first one is me. It's already populated what I put in on that first box. Hit next. You do need to have an email in here. That's a required field. And again, that will be how we're able to sometimes communicate with you if it's through an email message. Preferably, there would be a cell phone in this box as well. And if you can do that, you can mark those boxes so that you can get like an emergency text message. Hit next at the bottom there. Answer the armed services question and then hit save and continue. If there's an additional parent or guardian, you'll add the new parent or guardian and it'll ask you similar questions. So I could put Donald Duck in here if I wanted to. Just to save time, I'm going to save and continue. Put an emergency contact in here. So this would be not a parent or guardian. You are already in there because you already entered that in the parent guardian section. This would be somebody in addition to that. So I'm going to add Minnie Mouse. And we'll give her a phone number. And let's say she lives in a similar address as me. I'll put that in here. And then hit save or continue. Now we're at the spot where we can add an additional emergency contact or move on to the student. I'm going to add our student now. So my student's name is Huey Duck. I need his birth date in here, so I'm going to say that he's an incoming kindergartner. I can put in his birth city in here if I want. I do need to put his gender and the grade that I'm enrolling him for. So this is where I would pick kindergarten or whatever grade. If it's for preschool, you'll note that that's down at the bottom. Then I'm going to hit the next box. I'm going to put his ethnicity in here. If he's homeless or not. If he has an IEP, like from the Child Development Center, or if he has a 504 plan, or has been identified as gifted and talented, or is currently suspended or expelled from a previous school. Then I'm going to do the home language survey and tell what language is used most at our home, what language we would like to receive information from schools from, and what language he learned when he first began to talk, and that he most frequently speaks at home. And then answer the question if your child was born in the United States. Click next. If the child was at a previous school, I could put that. So let's say he was at CDC, I'll put that in there, and then you can put phone numbers. If your student's for example, a different grade than an incoming kindergartner and has been at a previous school, this is where you would put that so that we can request records. Click next. At this point now we're going to make relationships. So for the parent guardians, Daisy, that's me. I'm making sure that I have access to the portal and all of that. I'm going to say that I am his mother, and then it's going to ask me what sequence would I like for me to be added or contacted, and I'd like to be called first, so I'm going to put number 1, and I'm going to click next. Now it goes on to emergency contacts. I'm just going to say that I could say she's a family friend, or she happens to be our neighbor, and I could actually make her second as a contact. This is where I could put if we have a doctor. This is not a required field, so you can just click next if needed. If Huey has a medical condition, I can go into this box and just put whatever that is. I'm going to remove that and just say at this time he does not have any mental or medical health conditions, and then click next. Same thing if your child requires over-the-counter prescription medication on a daily or as needed basis. There is a form here that you can click and you can print it and turn that in. Go back to my registration. If he does not take any medications, I can just click that box. If he does, I can add the medication. Click Next. Then you would answer these questions. Is there any activity restriction or special medical equipment that's needed? Has there been any significant changes to their health over the past year? Any hospitalizations, any dietary restrictions, and then does your child wear contacts or glasses? And click Next. This health release for the Wyoming immunization record just allows our school nurses to access that registry online. And that's easy for them to find then to make sure that their immunizations are up to date. Then sometimes our nurses might use things like chapstick or saline, things that wouldn't be considered medicines, but if that is available to them and it would be helpful, if you give permission for them to be used with your student, just click yes. Click Next. The next part is where you get to choose schools. So this is where you're going to click in and say next school year. You do need to choose 4 different schools. I'm just going to go alphabetically and pick them for time's sake. If you need access to find out more about these schools, you can go to the Natrona Schools website and click on the Family Guide. There's a banner running across the front of that page, and there's lots of information in there about each school. If your student happens to be an English learner and could benefit from a program school, those schools are listed just so that you know what they are. If your child has siblings already at that school, you could mark yes and tell who that student is. If you're a parent that works at that school, you can put that in there and put your E number. And if your school that you are choosing first is closest to your home, you could mark that as well and then name the school. That just helps us give preference if needed. Then I'm just going to click Save and Continue. Once I've done that, if I happen to have twins, for example, or we're moving to Casper and we have multiple students, this is where I would need to add multiple students. Because Huey doesn't have any siblings, I'm just going to say Save and Continue. At this point, you have to click this Submit button in order for it to count. So if you have any further questions, let us know, and we'd be happy to help you. Our enrollment number is 253-5450, and the online window runs from January 4th through January 24th of 2021. Thank you.